Hello, everyone, and welcome. Welcome to Pink Lady Presents It Ain't Over Till You Say It's Over. You know, I was talking to my co-host, Chaplain Dove, today, and we were saying how lucky we are because the people that we have on our show come from all over the world, every nationality, every ethnicity, and I think it's an enjoyable way to do things. Now, today, I'm going to welcome Radomir Lutz. Hello.
Hello. And the name is Luza, not Luz. Just want to let you know.
Luza.
Luza, yeah.
Luza.
Yeah, there you go.
Now, Radomir is your Czechoslovakian, am I correct?
Yes, it's like a melting pot here, potpourri
I
of
know.
nationalities. Yeah.
I love it. But the wonderful thing is that your background is so romantic. I don't mean in the relationship way. I mean that your grandfather was a Czechoslovakian general during the resistance.
My grandfather was the leader of the Czech resistance, but my father, he fought in the Czech resistance. And when my grandfather was killed by the Nazis in an ambush in 1944, right before the end of the war, my father arranged 800 guys to go get the Nazis who did the deed to his father. It was something, and you know, it's harder to be in the underground than it is to be in a regular army unit and such because you're relying on other people to house you, to feed you, people you don't know that well that could give you away at any time.
That's right.
And soldiers don't have to worry about that.
Let me ask you, where were you born?
I was born in Vienna, Austria.
Okay.
But I'm Czech. But my parents are Czech anyway. Yeah.
Now, let me go on and talk about you. You went to Tulane University, and what did you study there?
I studied first in theater. I started off, but then I ended up in English. I liked Tulane. It was the 4 best years of my life. I also wrote for the school newspaper, the Hullabaloo, and I had a disc jockey. I was a disc jockey for the Ramblin' Rad show.
What was the Rambling Rag show?
I did the first nude radio show in New Orleans history.
No, really. Wait a minute now.
Yeah, they loved it so
radio
much.
Show?
Yeah, that was the idea because nobody can see it, right?
That's right.
So you do it.
And they kept telling me he had the body for radio.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, they told me that. And they liked it so much that the NBC affiliate there did a story on it, and they liked it so much that it ended up on CNN. So my friends saw my buns in Puerto Rico. It was really nice. It was good.
Funny.
Yeah.
So how long did you do that?
For about 2-3 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you graduated with what degree from
In
Tulane?
English, a BA in English. BA in English in 1985.
And when did this love of poetry come into your life?
It started when I was about 8, 9 years old when I got a little textbook in school when I was in, I think, 3rd or 4th grade.
Okay.
And I liked it then. I thought this was really fascinating and fantastic. And the words just hit me. And I cried, and it was full of emotion, and I was touched and moved. No, I don't remember the poems.
Okay.
And it influenced the rest of your
It
life.
really influenced the rest of my life.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
It touched me deeply.
Well, you've also written 21 books and
I've written 30.
30.
30
Oh my
books.
goodness.
21 he talks about, but they're all together.
I'm only 30. Yeah.
How did you come out here to LA?
I came out here in 2006. Ended up homeless. And I didn't know the city at all, which made it even more difficult. I rode the bus with old expired bus passes I found on the ground, and they didn't care because you go by them so fast on the bus drivers, they just let you go. And
Now, where were you homeless? Downtown LA?
Downtown LA. I stayed in Skid Row there, and I got to know people there. And,
For how long?
Only about 2 weeks. My dad helped me out, thank God.
Thank God for that.
Yeah.
You know, I'd like to segue from, I think it's the Eros
Of Angels.
Of Angels,
Yeah.
your poem about dead, but...
Dead and homeless again.
Okay, let's hear that.
Here we go. Room 204 bleeds, check, vomit. The door is too white, the carpet too gray, the electric cord has a mental history, and I can't live, not like this anymore. But the words come. They come like dandruff, they come like snow, and sunset comes too. Not the street, though. That's that.
Wow. Heavy duty.
I wrote that when I was homeless.
You've been writing your poetry.
Writing poetry, I've been acting. I've been also involved politically very much. I was president of the North Hollywood West Neighborhood Council.
Oh, okay.
I was a board member on the Midtown North Hollywood Neighborhood Council for 8 years. I run 2 poetry readings. I host 2 poetry readings, one with my fiance, Salient Sunday, it's called, and Beyond Baroque Literary Arts Center in Venice.
Right.
And also Unbuckled NoHo Poetry. We've been doing that for about 8 years now.
And what is that?
It's a poetry reading once a month on the first Saturday of each month with Marianita Mann. I host it. She's a well-known poet in North Hollywood. And people just come, they sign up on the open mic list, and they read poetry. We have a featured reader every month. He reads for 20 minutes, and the open mic readers read for about 5 or 6.
I'm ready for another poem.
Another poem. All right.
So where are we going now?
Go to
We're going
Sidewalks
with-
to the Street Corners.
I love that. Well, let me just see that a minute.
It's my
This
latest
is
book.
called
My latest book.
Sidewalks and Street Corners. You're going to see it up on the screen. And this is your latest
My
one.
30th one, yeah.
30 books.
30 books.
Where
yeah.
do you get the idea for the name of your book? I've always wanted to ask people that.
All I can say, and this sounds really cliched, is that it just comes to me. I want to make it simple. I want to make it simplistic
Right.
and not complicated. So I figured that Sidewalks and Street Corners is something people can really relate to because we all around them every day, sidewalks
Correct.
and street corners,
Correct.
but we don't make a big deal out of them. So it's something that is relatable and understandable, and that people get much of their inspiration by walking on sidewalks and around street corners.
What poem is it that
This
you're going to read
is
from
my
there?
favorite poem out of the book, believe it or not. It's called Often, so it's to my
Often.
fiancée Patricia. This one goes out to.
Okay.
Often I wave at love, its unbowed head and waving fists, its forgiven blades and unforgiven buttons, the ones it passes by and the ones it never finds. I know only that it is as raw as talent and as jubilant as rain when it smiles. Often I think of love and how blessed I am to have had it and lost it, only to have found it again. Often I swim in love, its backstroke and diving board, only to find the speed to make it to the beginning of its face.
Oh,
And this is dedicated to Patricia.
Yes, it is.
I
it
love
is.
that. That is beautiful. Wow. And
It's a good book.
And when is this out now?
It's out now. It's out from Christian Faith Publishing. Which
And how do people get this?
they
is
get
it
it
on
on
the-
Amazon.com, BarnesandNoble.com, or they can buy it from me and get it cheaper. I sell it at different poetry readings around town.
Okay.
But if you don't live here, Amazon.com, BarnesandNoble.com.
And they ask for
Sidewalks and Street Corners by Radomir Wojciech Luja.
in other words, Radomir Lucha.
There you
Right.
go.
And for a slight fee of $10,000 or $15,000, you'll come to their home and read it to them.
Less than that, I'll do it for $2,000 or $3,000.
No. I would say 10 or 15.
Yeah.
You should be my agent.
I'll try to be. Okay.
Okay.
That's what we do here, by
Right.
the way. We try to get our viewing audience
Right.
to support the guest,
Right.
whether it's a book or a CD or a part in a play. We've had some
Great.
marvelous
I
people.
think y'all doing a great job
And-
here.
So
And
what
that's
type of acting gigs have you had?
I did some Shakespeare stage readings. I've never done a Shakespeare play because, I don't know, it's tough. I just never got hired. I've been to a lot of Shakespeare auditions. But when I was in New York, I did a lot of stage readings of Shakespeare. Cymbeline, Romeo and Juliet, Henry V.
You're going to do something from Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah, I'll be doing Romeo, though I'm a little too old to be playing him. But I'm doing Romeo anyway because I love the guy. And he's talking to the friar. "'Tis torture, not mercy. Heaven is here where Juliet lives. And every cat and dog and little mouse, every unworthy thing that live here in heaven may look on her. But Romeo may not. More validity, more courtship, more honorable state lives in carrion flies than Romeo. They may seize on the white wonder of dear Juliet's hand and steal immortal blessing from her lips, who even in pure and vestal modesty still blush as thinking their own kisses sin. This may flies do, and I from this must fly. They are free men, but I am banished. And sayest thou yet that exile is not death? Hadst thou no sharp ground knife, no sudden mean of death, though ne'er so mean, but banished to kill me, banished? O friar, the damned use that word in hell. Howling attends it. how hast thou the heart to banish me forever? Banished!
I must tell our audience, for a layman who reads Shakespeare and then tries to do it in the spoken word, a lot of people, that's where they absolutely get stymied.
Yeah,
I think what you have done is shown them that if you treat the written word as just
right.
a language,
That's what you have to do.
as a natural thing to be spoken in just a feeling.
Right.
Right now, I'd like to hear our last poem of
Sounds
the day.
great to me.
That's from now the
From
New
New York
York
Nader.
Now, what does that mean, New York
Well,
Nader?
nadir means emptiness, an empty hole, nothingness. And this is how I felt when I was going through leaving my wife and going through the troubles I had with her. I felt
Okay.
very empty and very, like New York can really, unlike LA, it's not spread out. New York is like a goldfish bowl.
Correct.
And it really was getting to me. There was like, I felt like it was
Almost
coming from all,
suffocating.
suffocating
Right,
from all
I
sides.
get it,
Yeah, from all
right.
sides. So, but this is a really good book, I think, too.
And what is the name of
And
this
the
poem?
name of this is D for D Train. It's like I'm reliving what it's like to be on the D train going through the Bronx, I believe. Yeah,
Okay.
it's a little longer,
Go ahead.
about 2 minutes or so. D. This Bronx, my Bronx, grand concourse of needle and wine, veins blowing trumpet and dust. On the D train, the mother sings, the brother rings, and the morning grins. Up the west side like a slithering virus. Black guy next to me bouncing cannonball head on arms on lap. Across from black man in glasses, looking down all the time like wounded crow. Newspaper drying thumbs. D crossing the Bronx now, and the Hispanic kid near the door still playing his music, his loud music. Not one person in the car saying a word, not a vowel, consonant, or syllable. Blowing his nose on the plastic floor, and nobody mops it up. Older white guy with mustache, legs resting on seat in front. Looks ahead, looks to the side, doesn't know what looking is. He is frightened of pain, of allergy, of steep promises, and stuff he put in the way. Two black men enter the train talking loud. Hell, this train is hell, swerving like a dead bird and stalling a corroded winter. And hell, I'm afraid of fear, of God not being God, whoever God is, of life being who she is, of death and then nothing, then darkness, then hanging in limbo, hanging in gray, moss, a caged squirrel. And the train moves like a crippled manic depressive, like a pregnant go-go dancer, like no before yes.
Ooh, heavy duty. Heavy duty. You are a very deep
Deep, yeah.
type poet. I will
Yes.
tell you that.
I'm that person,
with
too.
correct, and I say that in all respect
Thank
to you.
Thank you.
Dear friends, as I told you since we began last year, on our show, it's lives that are well lived. People who give of themselves to the world, their talent, whether it be a poet like Radomir, a singer, a community outreach person, a veteran. It's people who care so deeply about their lives that they want to influence others to make a better world,
Right.
one person at a time. Radomir, thank you so much for sharing it with us, your poetry. Please go on Amazon for just a few of the ones.
Yeah,
New
they're all
York,
Amazon.
New York Nader. We have his brand new one, Sidewalks and Street Corners, and then Eros of Angels. Thank you, Radomir.
Thank you. God
You
bless
are a
you guys.
delightful
Thank you, guys.
gentleman. I
Thank
wish you well
I wish you
with
the
your
best,
acting.
too.
I wish you well with your poetry and with your lovely, lovely lady,
Oh,
Patricia.
thank you. You're the best. I love you guys. Thank
Thank
you very
you so much
God bless you.
Thank you.
for tuning in to Pink Lady Presents. God bless.
I'm gonna play for the sky. Ain't gonna miss a thing. I'm gonna have my fling. I'm gonna live, live, live until I die.